Hello, everybody, and welcome to Delta Oaks Ranch Podcast number 2. And today's date is February 13th. We're recording today, and we'll be posting pretty soon. Our next guest for today has seen the Rio Grande Valley evolve over the decades and has built an incredible career navigating the different industries before finding his true calling in real estate. I love real estate.
Heck yeah.
Born and raised in Monte Alto in the 1960s. He later moved to Edinburgh in the 1970s, where he became a proud graduate of Edinburgh High School in the 1980s. His academic journey took him to Pan American University before earning his bachelor's degrees in finance and accounting from Texas A&M in 1990.
That's true.
Yeah, welcome to the ranch.
Wow, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. And we've been talking about bringing you over and talking about a bunch of stuff. And one of the most important things I love to talk about, as you already know, and you enjoy it. I think we always get off topic, but we dance around is real estate. I love talking about real estate.
Yeah, I'll talk your ear off.
Luckily for me, I've got 2 years.
That's true.
So we're going to start. Tell us a little bit about Mark Wells.
Well, as you alluded to earlier, I am from Monte Alto. My parents were both teachers at the elementary there. We were Blue Devils.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're now high school.
Okay.
But,
is it still the original buildings that
you
got there?
Still there. My dad was a bus driver. He was a teacher. And so was my mom.
Amazing. Yeah.
Then we moved to Edinburgh, and they became teachers at the Edinburgh ISD.
Okay.
And that was in the 70s and 80s, and I think they retired somewhere in the late 80s. But yeah, it was fun living out in the county.
Do you still have your parents are still alive? Or?
My dad passed away, about 6 years ago. My mom, the older she gets, the funner she becomes. I'll sit there and watch cowboy movies with her. She's hilarious. I mean, she's.
Is it that amazing? The older that we get to appreciate our parents a lot better.
Oh yeah, no, I always appreciate her. And the thing is, now I listen to what she says. Everything, you'd think, no, she doesn't know what she's talking. No, she does.
Yeah, they do.
They've got wisdom, and it's a shame that when they go, that wisdom is lost. It's too bad you can't store it somewhere in some kind of crystal,
Yeah, that is a shame. But, we have to do our best to listen to their wisdom while they're still here.
Yeah.
Listen to them and learn from it. When we're young, we don't listen to our parents too well or for different reasons. But the older that I got, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I start listening to them, especially my mom, and just listen to her wisdom.
Yeah.
So tell us about how now you got started in real estate. How long have you been in real estate?
About 22 years. I remember when I got started, actually not started, but I got the idea of getting into it when I was a staff accountant in Houston. I was at a hospital, and I was chasing pennies. I would walk in the morning, it was dark, and leave it dark, in a suit and a tie. Hated that.
Oh.
And I guess one night I was drinking. I should have been doing this.
Uh-oh.
And I started watching this commercial. There's this guy who's selling cassettes on real estate. And I guess I had a few too many. I ordered one. And I got them in. Never listened to one of them, but that was the beginning.
And when was this?
This was back in 19...
Well, how old were you?
I was about 38, 39 in that range.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was in Houston, sitting in my apartment, and I dreaded going to work. Oh my gosh, I dreaded it. It wasn't, I wanted to be outside.
Yeah.
And
that's why it's important sometimes, it's best we'll become more successful finding the things that we love to do. We've talked about all this stuff and off, not being recorded and so forth. We've been friends for a while, Mike. But I think that's why it's so successful. But that's the trick.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just never find, or they can't align the stars finding what they love to do. Right. So that's a challenge.
Yeah. No, and I took the jump. I got fired from one of my jobs, and I said, why not? I was going to go home anyway. And it was my chance to get home. And it was, when one door closes, another opens. It is so true. Every time something's closed, there was something better opened.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up going home, and it was the best time because I spent time with my dad while he was still alive. And
nice.
And I'm not leaving. No, this is my home. I know everybody. I know I can get things done. I would never leave here now. I would venture out, but no, this is my home.
Yeah, the RGV is your
It is.
place.
No, I used to call us Valley Rats. No, you're never coming back. I never thought I was coming back, but
Yeah.
I did.
Well, I mean, the Valley has a lot to offer. I love the Valley. I'm a local as well,
Yeah.
but I do love to travel and to explore different places. And sometimes when you go and travel, you get to appreciate your home even more
Oh, yeah.
because the Valley is very unique, very unique. But as unique as it is, a lot of the times I find a lot of things are similar, but yet different.
Yeah.
At different places, there's like here in the Valley, you have pockets of people where they're still, we're the same people, but slightly different, slightly custom.
Yeah.
Like people from Harlingen are different from people in Rio Grande City.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
deal. And they're all good and we're from here and we're all connected at the hip. But yeah, that's great. But so what was your first real estate deal that got you hooked? Or how did that happen?
Well, I took my courses and moved back to the Valley. I took them up in Houston, and turned out I was driving down the street on 10th Street in McAllen, and I saw a billboard. It was a friend of mine I'd been to high school with. So I called her up and said, "Hey, I just got my license. I'm looking for a place to work." I said, "Well, come on over." And that's when I went to Remax First Choice. It doesn't exist anymore. They morphed into another company when the owners are no longer the owners. And she called me in. I met the brokers, and they made me feel like, man, you're talented. We're going to help you out. It was just a warm body. They needed to pay the monthly rent. So, but I got in, and what helped me was the fact that I was an IT guy, and all the real estate agents in there needed some kind of work on the computer, something. And so we traded. I said, "You know what? I'll help you out, but you throw me a bone." And so, yeah, they would, "You know what? Here's a client. They want to see my listing. Go out there and show it to them." I was like, "Great." But I learned very quickly, how the business works.
That sounds like fun. And
It was.
It sounds like an adventure going out there showing people. And
Yeah. Well, it
getting
doesn't
to know
happen much anymore. Back then, they would climb into your car. You'd go to my office, and we'd climb into my vehicle and we'd take them. And I liked that because I could talk to them. Now, I guess mostly because of the COVID, they take their own vehicles, which is fine. That's fine.
So you were also telling me that now you mentor real estate
I
agents.
mentor some agents.
But let's talk about that. That's kind of really interesting to me. So,
no, really, there's a lot of new agents out there. A lot of them are not sure, and I remember when I got started, there was a lot of, there's a lot of strategy, when you're dealing with negotiations. There actually is. Some is financing, how to put contracts together. It's real important you do it right, because if you make a mistake, it might put your client at a disadvantage. And so basically, right now my mentoring has to do with how to do paperwork, how to manage the systems they give you. And then, if you have any questions on how to negotiate, me, the way I think about it is, if you can control it, you'll close it. A lot of new agents out there, I said, "You know what, I'll handle this. You don't worry about it. You just wait for your check." And so I'll do that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's still a field that you would recommend somebody that's interested to look into? Do you feel it's saturated with people going into real estate? How would you gauge it? What's your opinion?
Well, it's tough right now. I was looking at the statistics in our MLS, Greater McAllen Association of Realtors, and all the graphs show, there's more homes on the market. But all the numbers are all going up. But the most important statistic is the closings have gone through. Yeah. They've just tanked. I believe it's going to get better. It has to. I'm an optimist. And even then, the good realtors are going to survive because they know how to. You just work your systems. Really, real estate. They already have systems that have proven to make realtors successful. You just have to work them.
So how long does it take to become a real estate agent?
I believe it's 180 hours you have to take.
So 180 hours. Well, what does that mean? Could be 5 weeks, a year.
It depends.
6 months.
It depends. We're going through a local college. It could be a semester.
So you have to go to college to get
no.
certificate? Or okay, so
You can
explain
actually
that.
there's classes you can take. There are companies that specifically will train you to be an agent. That could last about a month. One week they'll run you through some classes, and there's some basics that you have to take. Ethics. I don't remember them because it's been a long time.
Okay.
But yeah, it's about 180 hours.
Is there prerequisites? Do you have to have a college degree or
Well,
some sort of
you have to be
experience?
a U.S. citizen. You have to not be a criminal. I think no
Uh,
records. I think there's one more. Um, you have to be at least 18 years old.
okay, well, that's important.
That's important. But it's and then the tests, they're not that difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to study just like anything. But
Yeah. You know what I did notice once I retired from my former job, a lot of my former coworkers started becoming real estate agents.
oh yeah,
Because we're friends on Facebook and we're former coworkers, and I just saw like a trend. Everybody started becoming real estate agents, and so I saw that there was a growth in that. But I also see the valley growing by leaps and bounds.
yeah,
A lot of people moving in, a lot of people from California.
yeah,
Amazingly, that surprised me. Yeah, that I never thought the valley would be attractive enough, but I think it's for different reasons. Some of them, I believe, because of not only you can find a very good home at a very good price here in the Rio Grande Valley, but because there's a lot of industry. And one of the major industries that I've noticed, besides there's SpaceX
yeah.
in Brownsville, Starbase, right? And that's bringing a lot of business our way.
It
Uh,
is.
so
It's putting us on the map. But the growth, yeah, they know it's coming. All the roads are being widened.
a lot.
A lot of subdivisions coming up. Um, but more so the infrastructure, because it's the cities, the companies. They know they have their economists. They know what's coming. And yeah, I've sold homes to a bunch of undercover. Well, not a bunch, but a lot of people in law enforcement, and so they're bringing them down a lot.
Yeah. And I feel, there's people that are for, growing the subdivisions and from the growth. And there's also antagonists, people that they're not for it. I tend to be more on the side it's for it. If you're against it, I get it. But what are you going to do? People need to live somewhere.
Oh yeah,
And because it's taking the resources. And one of the biggest resources that we're challenged here in the Valley, as I already know, for different reasons, is water.
yeah.
A lot of people forget that we're still in the middle of a major drought. We've been lucky enough that it's been kind of raining here, but it's not enough. If it doesn't rain upriver, up from the dam, so we can hold the water,
Yeah.
it just runs off.
I think there's going to need more dams. I mean, as it is, whenever we have those, the what is it, the causeway? What do they call it? The floodway. The floodway.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
floodway. Yes.
I remember every once in a while you get it where the water runs for 3-4 days, but it goes
Yes.
straight into the ocean. They don't try to trap it.
Well, there's different things because I go to different board meetings and so forth for the water conservation, different water boards and so forth, and just reading on it. It's one of my, I guess, hobbies, right?
Yeah.
If I read into it. But anyway, so there's certain ways, but there's certain dynamics legally you cannot capture runoff water. It's against the law. So there's a lot of hoops you kind of have to
Yeah.
dance through and hurdles you have to jump to be able to do that. But it can be done, and they are looking into it. But that takes a lot of time,
See, the
a
thing
lot
is,
of effort.
they're looking into it. Why haven't they just? I mean, this should have been done a long.
Well, I totally agree. But,
Oh my God.
there's so much bureaucracy you got to deal with. And not only in government, and just getting the correct support behind you to help you get there is a challenge in itself. And being in the valley, that's challenging to get enough support and being proactive to see the need of the valley and to get that. So there's that. There's also other sources of water that we have here under the ground that we can get to and all that. And so there's a lot of things, but we're getting a little bit off the subject.
Yeah.
But going back into the real estate, so tell us about how active are you in the real estate and
Well, it's a full-time job. I don't have any other thing. That's what I do.
okay.
And I probably spend too much time doing it. I do research at night. I'll make my calls in the morning. show homes in the afternoon, and at night I'll do my research.
Okay.
I look up people who don't know they want to sell yet, because I pretty much know what's on the market, because you see it every day in your MLS. So it's like, okay, now we're looking for some land. You're going to be looking for some land, and you just try to find those people who are, like, in our case, developers. You want to find a place next to a drainage ditch, something where you can send the runoff. That's one of the things you need to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of flooding in the valley.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
And so one of the requirements, they're going to, if you don't have those drainage ditches, they're going to want you to spend the money to run a canal to those drainage ditches. So it kind of prohibits a lot of people from doing that. So if you ever look at a map and you see where those subdivisions are, they're all going to be right next to some kind of drainage ditch.
Yeah. I do some development, so I'm kind of familiar with it, and we'll talk about those developments later on. But I'd like to give everybody a disclaimer. We're not financial advisors.
That's true.
This is pure, I guess, for fun. And anybody that wants to listen into, we're not financial advisors.
No, not at all.
Big disclaimer. But this is one of our hobbies, and this is for purely entertainment purposes. However, we do have properties that we're going to demonstrate later on, and we'll be also announcing to everybody, anybody who wants to participate, to follow us. We're going to give away 2 tickets to Mercy Me Live 2025 at the Bert Ogden Arena in Edinburgh, Texas. May 4th, Zach Williams and special guest Sam Wisely. So we're going to have 2 tickets. So please participate, and you might be lucky and get.
They're a great band. They sound great.
I've never heard them yet. So
they're good.
Okay.
It's exciting.
So it's kind of like a rock band?
Well, it's more on the, how do I put it? It's more religious stuff.
Okay.
But it's the good stuff.
So one of the questions I wanted to come back, and how is it different selling real estate in the RGV compared to anywhere else?
Well,
what's your opinion?
The prices down here they don't compare to San Antonio, Austin. That same house down here, say it's 250, would be somewhere around 400,000 up in Austin.
Almost twice.
Almost twice, yeah. And in some places, like down here, we don't have the buyer and the seller meet at the title company, and if there's a problem, we negotiate it. Houston, they'll do that. They bring you both in, and we close. We don't do that down here. And
why is that?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking that maybe, if something doesn't go right, someone gets mad. I don't know that, but I think it would be a great thing. But for the most part, the title companies get it done. They get it right.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea because you can hash it out right there and then.
Well, almost everything that needs to be hashed out should have been hashed out before you got there.
Yes, I agree.
They just do it maybe to shake hands up in Houston.
Until you mentioned right now, I guess you're right. On all the properties that I've closed, that I wasn't there with the other party.
Yeah. They usually they're there before or after.
Or you know why? Because I would think my own appointments. So I was thinking, now I'm thinking about it. Well, no, it's because, we all work, right?
Right.
And you have things to do. So the other party is not going to have the same schedule.
They will never schedule you together with the buyer and seller at the same table.
Could that be done?
It can if you ask for it.
Okay. And then the other party needs to be willing.
Well, yeah. And are they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually it's a smooth closing.
Yeah, it is. Never had usually the problems that I ever had were some of the closing cost questions.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that, well, wait a minute, these days of this or that, but whatever.
Yeah, they passed some laws that now that's almost illegal. And if it's past, like, I think 5% or 10%, they put a halt to everything. You can't close. You got to wait a few days until everything gets, I guess, worked out.
Yeah.
Then you can go back.
Well, Mike, tell everybody, because I think we're taking for granted everybody knows how this works. In other words, let's say I'm looking for some land or a house. What should people do first? Should I be looking for a piece of land?
Well,
should I be looking for a house? And do we call real estate agent? I mean, guide us here. What should the regular person
easiest, fastest way? First of all, you need to get pre-qualified. Find out how much you can afford. That will give the agent, at least some idea of what your price range
Yeah, but
is.
there's a lot of new people out there that they don't know that. Do they call you? Do we have his number so we'll put it up
Well,
there in a
and that's
minute,
the
but
thing. When you call an agent, that agent should be able to help you with that.
okay.
That's one of the first things, how much you want to spend. Have you
Okay.
talked to a lender yet? Well, usually every agent usually has a lender they work with regularly.
Okay. So I just graduated from college. I got this awesome new job. I want to buy a house. I got married. So we'll look for a real estate agent. We'll look for Mark.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
you're going to help us get, pre-qualified.
Absolutely. Get you pre-qualified.
So once we get pre-qualified, what does your experience tell you? Like, what are the ranges like if historically, let's say you make $50,000 a year or $100,000 your combined income with your spouse. More than likely, what kind of home could you kind of maybe say they could afford?
Well, prices have gone up. Most of the brand new homes out there are probably in the $300,000 range. Probably not in the price range for new couples, the young ones. The older ones, yeah, probably, because now they've been established. Their income is probably up.
Okay.
But your easiest ways to buy a home that's already been lived in, used homes. It's like a car. You drive it off the lot, it's worth less.
Yeah, but homes go up in price.
They do.
Value.
And that's what's happened the last few years. They've really gone up.
So what do you do with a family? They need a new home, and they got to upgrade. What happens there?
Well, you just have to hope that those homes come on the market. And
That's where Mark goes to home.
That's where
you go to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go and find them.
It is work.
Yeah.
We don't just.
That's where you earn your keep.
We do the research at night. What's coming on the market? We kind of get you involved as well. We'll send you. Most of the agents have apps they can send to you. We have one. Our MLS has one where wherever you're at, that if you have that app and you open it up, it'll tell you what's for sale around you.
Yeah.
Now, if you are looking for a certain size, a certain price range, you can adjust the filters in there.
Yeah.
And you're driving down the road and you see a house you like, you open it up, and if it doesn't show up, probably doesn't fit one of your criteria. But if it does, then you can just punch the little icon and look at the information.
Where do you feel the majority of the demand is, or maybe switching now? Because I feel McAllen, Edinburgh is so saturated. And I get it, all the stores, the convenience, the better schools, and the university. But do you see a trend in the Valley where it's starting to now push, and you would say, as an investor, maybe you should consider purchasing land in this general area because there's only so much property left in it or McAllen. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, they're not making any more land in McAllen. So
no,
you're going to have to go north. Absolutely. Most people like going north in Edinburgh, maybe far. For some reason, it's not as developed in north of Mission. Still a lot of dirt roads out there. But Edinburgh, a lot of people like Edinburgh. It's a good community, suburban community.
Okay, so you're talking northwest. How about east?
East, you're talking, and that's not a bad place either. Anything usually between 2818 and 107. That's where most people are kind of landing. If you can't find anything in town, because anything in town is going to go through the roof. I remember homes that were selling for 75 back in the mid 2000s, 2010, 2015, 75, 80,000. Now they're worth almost 175.
Wow.
3.2s, 1,300 square foot homes.
Well, for most of the people out there, break that down. What does a 3.2 mean, Mark?
3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Okay.
Maybe a 1-car garage, or maybe not a garage.
A carport.
Carport.
Yeah.
They made a lot of those.
Yeah. And where do people, the majority, which way do you send them? Do you send them with banks or finance companies?
Well, if you've got a great relationship with your bank, I would check there first. But for the most part, these mortgage companies, they're going to work hard, because if they don't do a mortgage, they don't eat. Banks, I like them. There's some that are working well with whatever. There's some situations where you should use a bank, like maybe buying land. They're more, the credit unions are real good about doing loans for lots,
okay,
tracts of land. But mortgage companies, those that are not attached to banks, those guys are going to work hard. They will absolutely work hard, and they'll get you in a house.
Where do you see the biggest demand, Mark? Is it bigger homes, mid-size homes, or
I think it's well, right now
square footage maybe?
Square footage average, it's probably 1,700. Right now,
Okay.
the average price for just a home, the average price for a home is about 277,000.
Okay.
And you're looking at that range, you're looking at about 1,700 square foot.
Yeah, I've spoken to some other investor friends, and they're saying that mainly the entry level right now at our current rate, because of interest rates, the way the politics are, that's somewhere 1,700 square feet homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not making you homes less than 200,000. You don't really find them anymore. And anybody who does,
it's really challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and right now the cost of labor, cost of material.
Yeah.
So everything's gone dramatically up. You want to tell us about some of these properties you have, Mark?
Well, actually, they're not even mine. They all belong to
you want to explain all that disclaimers or any? You want to get close to the mic, though?
Well, actually, these are just homes that I pulled and have them run through here because they're less than, or at least priced around 200,000. Right now, there's a lot of lenders that I talked to and said, Mark, we don't have anything. I mean, most of the people that I deal with, they're looking for homes, but there's nothing decent. And they're around the $200,000 range. So that's why these are here. I don't know what they look like on the inside, but the homes, I'm not sure what size this is. It's a 2-bedroom, 2 full bath, 2-car garage in Lyford.
Interesting. That one has a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Well, space.
Actually, it looks like a 1. It's probably because of the angle.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good price, $187,000.
Yeah.
But it's in Lyford.
In Lyford. Well, I mean, yeah, in Lyford.
Lyford's nice, but, nowadays you have to commute everywhere.
You do.
So not too much big of a deal. But if you had somebody and that's the price range, it's something they could consider.
Absolutely. Right? And let's see, where's this? This is McAllen, $229,000 for a lot. Is this in?
It says McAllen.
It is, but I don't know where that's at. Usually, I know the streets. I've been doing this long enough, but so much construction is taking place. All these new streets come up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
All those damn developers.
They're ruining the place.
Yeah. So this is a super nice home right here,
and this is in McAllen. It's a 3-2 1-car garage. Looks like a nice neighborhood for $229,900. That's not.
So $229,000. What is the norm now that they'll ask for a down payment?
Well, it depends. If you're going FHA, which is the government, FHAs are asking it at a minimum 3.5%. I don't know if they've gone to 3, but 3.5% down payment. And it's a 30-year note. Right now, interest rates are ranging from 6.5% to 7%.
Yeah.
Okay. If you go, of course, VA or USDA's got some good programs, but those guys
got to qualify.
Well, they all have to qualify, but USDA gets allotted some money. At USDA, they'll put you. Well, the homes that you want to buy have to be somewhere in a place they want developed. USDA, that's usually it's in a rural area, and the way to find that, usually they have a web page you can go to, and you type in an address, and it'll take you as like, yeah, this place qualifies. Sometimes it's 0 down payment, and
there's a lot of assistance there.
There's absolutely.
So for everybody out there, you might take some time and look under the USDA homes.
Yeah.
USDA.gov. I've seen those.
And it's usually longer than 30 days or 45 days. The average closing time for a home is about 30 days.
Okay. So there's this other one in Raymondville.
Raymondville, of course, 175. I'm not sure how much land it sits on, but usually in Raymondville, those lots are pretty good size.
Tell us about JPAR.
Well, JPAR, and don't ask me what JPAR stands for because no one can tell me, even the big dogs in our business.
Well, you need to know this.
I'm going to make something up if I have to. But it's a great company. I've been with RE/MAX for 16 years, and usually they hand you a phone and a desk. And when I was there, they didn't have much software, but it was the big gorilla. Everybody knew Remax. And so a lot of people, they would call and say, hey, I want to work with you because you're Remax. And where I'm from, Remax helped us buy our first home. So I was there for 16 years. It was a great experience. The broker was awesome. And
But you said that they're not around anymore.
they morphed into Remax Platinum. They were purchased. They were bought out. And then I went to Keller Williams. It's another good company. When I got there, I didn't realize there was so much material that, to learn from. Their big thing was to learn about your business. And, there was a lot of materials. And
so when people want to look for you, they're going to look for Mark Williams, JPAR, or JPAR Mark Williams?
Mark Wells.
I'm sorry, Mark Wells.
Yeah.
That's what
just type my name in the browser.
Okay.
JPAR Mark Wells, I'll pop up. I may even pop up under some of the others, but I've moved on and I got to fix that. But JPAR, what JPAR provides is basically, it's a lot of bells and whistles, and they're actually developing apps for us, to help you keep your goals. Their big thing is to create a book of business. And what that means is we have a database, and that database you fill in with all these people looking for homes. They may not be ready now, but they will be eventually. Everybody eventually is going to need a home or want a home or want to sell something. And you track them on this web page or on this database, and it keeps you in front of them if you do it right. And when you're ready to retire, you can sell it. Let's say you're making 5 or 10 deals just through that database, sending out texts and emails to people you've already done business with or you want to do business with. And if you do it right, you can either pass it on to a family member if they want to continue as real estate, or you can possibly sell it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think our brokers, they actually were able to sell their database. Someone bought it for millions of dollars. And that was during the height of the pandemic.
Wow.
Or I take that back. During the height of 2008, the downturn in the economy, it was a crash. Remember that crash?
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah. Well,
2009.
They were doing so well. It really, the real estate agents, you can do well in a downturn. Okay. Because there's always, you find your niche.
Well, I think what it is, I love business. We always talk business.
Yeah.
So it's the basic concept that I feel, my opinion, is never going to change is you buy low and you sell high.
You sell high.
So when the economy does bad, that's the time to buy.
Exactly.
You don't get scared, and if you've planned correctly or you find a way, you purchase what you can, whether it's in real estate or the stock market, you buy the dips.
Right now, and I tell a lot of my clients, hey, right now is probably the time to buy, because when people decide to go back into the home buying business right now, if it hits 6, I think that's the point. And if you buy now, you're not going to pay that extra premium. Prices will go up. There's so many people waiting to buy homes. That's why you see, I think, in my opinion, all these fourplexes are being filled up, and they're paying, for a 3.2 or a 2.2, somewhere close to $1,000 or above that. They want a home. They don't want to stay in an apartment. So they're waiting. Like I said, the interest rates are a little bit too high for them. But if you buy now, even though the interest rate is high, you're going to be able to change that interest rate. Once you buy that home, you pay that high price. You can't change that.
What's the current interest rate today?
It's, I believe,
more or less
6.5. That's the lowest you can get without buying points.
Okay.
And then it goes to about 7.
So what's going on? Like, I was looking at apartments for different reasons. For my oldest son, he was thinking of investing and purchasing one. So the demand is still there. Do you feel? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, again, I think people are in apartments right now because they don't want to buy. Not at the interest rates, but again, buy now before the prices go up, because you can always refinance. You can go from that 7.5 to whatever the rate is whenever you decide to refinance. And I believe rates are going to go down. They have to.
So again, disclaimer, we're not financial advisors. This is all for pure entertainment purposes. But I'm going to mention this. It's basically the same principle as buying on the dips.
Yeah.
So right now, because of interest rates, the prices are kind of relatively, more or less reasonable, for the lack of a better term. So before the interest rates go down and the prices are going to go up, the time to buy is now. Is that your logic?
Right.
Why you think buy now?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think buying now is the best thing. Again,
And then pivot when the interest rates drop.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't change what you paid for it, but you can change the interest rate.
Exactly.
Yeah. And some people are and I understand, they want to wait, and, I just give them the information.
Okay. Well, I love real estate. I love development. I have different projects going on. And there's a property that Mark is going to help us out sell. Okay. So we're going to show some of the tracks. We have a couple of tracks for sale in a beautiful area on FM 88, close to 186. So you might even see some deer out there from 186. And they're 12.3 acre tracks. Track 1, track 2, track 3. So each one is 12.2 and 57. So this is very attractive for somebody, I feel, that you don't want to be too close to your neighbor. So if you purchase the 12 acres and your neighbor has another 12, combined, you're talking about within 24, 25 acres of space. And so we have North Alamo Water on the north side and on the south side right here. So this is FM 88. 186 is about half a mile that way north. The property sits on the northwest corner of the intersection of County Road 2900 and FM 88. So beautiful pieces of land, and I fell in love with it.
Hey, don't forget, you've got a fiber optic line running right in front of that land.
Yes, so there's fiber optics, there's North Alamo Water, and track 3, I have irrigation water on there right now. So if you build your house, and that was one of the reasons I wasn't going to sell this one. I was going to hold it down, but I decided to sell it. So anyway, if the back part of it, and anybody, you can direct message me, and I'll take you out there and I'll hook you up with Mark, and he'll show you the property. What I also did, I don't know if you have a picture rolling on the road that we created in the back, but I have an easement. So you're going to have frontage from the front of the road to go access to your home here, and you're going to have access to the back. I created a road easement so that way you can get access to your property in the back. And here's an aerial drone footage of the property. See how beautiful that is?
Oh, yeah. That's the backside now.
Yeah. So can you imagine just being up there and, you're the king of your castle. Nobody's going to bother you. You're away from all the traffic and the noise. We were out there just the other day and just enjoying the quietness
right out there.
Super quiet.
It's not like being
and you sit in the back. When you're in the back of the property, you have like a bird's eye view of the whole area. So it's just super, super beautiful out there. Look for Mark. You can look for me if you're one of my friends or Facebook friends, and I'll get you in contact with Mark. He'll take you out there and explain all the details, help you find financing if you don't have the financing. Yeah. There's fiber optics, North Alamo Water, and I will throw in for the septic tank system. That'll go with that.
That's right.
What else should we tell them about the property, Mark?
It's high. It's not in a flood zone.
Oh, yeah. It's really high.
Yeah.
So,
and you have drainage on either
side.
Great
drainage on all sides.
Yeah, that's right.
And the beautiful thing that I love about it is that, there's irrigation water. Irrigation water to me is a tremendous asset, a tremendous value, especially when you have acreage that you'll be able to plant. And I'll show you how to do it. It's not too hard. NK37 or coastal Bermuda. If you have horses, if you have cattle, and that way you'll keep it nice and beautiful out there and create and make your own hay bales out there. So it's at $250,000 right now. They will be going up because there's some infrastructure that I'll probably be adding to the other tracks, looking into putting the irrigation water, because only one of them has one access to the flood water right now, or the irrigation water.
And that's the one that sits the highest.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It overlooks.
That's lot track number 3.
Yeah. That's right. We have it. We dubbed it number 3.
Number 3,
Yeah.
there we go, track number 3. But they're all beautiful.
Yeah.
They're all awesome. And you can get access to the back. And if you show us the aerial, again, the drone footage, Roland, please, thank you. The value of your property is going to be protected because there's just nothing but beautiful homes out there and ranches.
Yep.
So it's going to complement the value of your home, and you can feel pretty secure. You're not going to have any bad neighbors around you. As the drone footage will change here in a minute, you'll see one of my neighbors way out there. He's got a beautiful 50-acre ranch out there that he does round bales. And there's another one over there that Mr. Wells knows about. It's got a beautiful, beautiful farm out there. So if you see that home, it's a limestone house, beautiful house. If you build a limestone house, you don't have to worry about your property value going down. That's something important we should have talked about is sometimes when you build, you want to make sure you buy in a good area, a good subdivision. And that way you don't have to worry about your property value.
And that definitely is a place. Everybody's going north. They're tired of the crowds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I saw the demand of people asking if I would sell. I didn't want to sell the whole tract. There's a lot of people that are tired living in town. They want to move out. And everything's growing north.
Yeah. I get a lot of calls for land. 5-acre tracts, 10-acre tracts, but it's always, land and maybe land with a house. There's just not a lot out there right now.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other value about these tracts right here are that you're going to have irrigation water.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the tracts that are for sale, you'll find them 1 acres, 5 acres, 10-acre tracts or whatever.
But they don't come. You're right.
Yes.
They don't.
And I don't know if I can say one of my competitors out there. And well, let's just say this. There's some other 10-acre tracts out there that don't have irrigation water. So to me, that's challenging, especially in a drought. You build a house, you got a horse, and no way to irrigate it.
And another thing, they're not off a major road like this. These 3 tracks.
Exactly.
Yeah. And being off of FM 187.
186.
That's a loud road. They widen it for the 18-wheelers. Yeah. So no,
we've seen some wildlife come to this property.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's La Sal del Rey is real close by. All that federal refuge land.
Yeah.
So if you like deers and all kinds of wildlife,
we'll just throw some salt licks out there.
Oh yeah.
There's a way for them to
a little deer feeder. I was going to do that. But I'm always so busy. I'm always working. I was going to put a deer feeder out there for you hunters. I'm a hunter. I love hunting when I can. And there was, I guess, one last thing we wanted to talk about is AI, how that's affecting the industry in real estate. What's your opinion on that?
I use it. One of the things that I hated doing, I'm not really good at, is writing. I'm a bad writer. I can't. I get a listing and you have to describe, you try to describe it in a way that people want to come in and see it. Well, AI has changed that completely. All I do is tell it, this is what this property has. Write me a professional, nice paragraph about this property, and it'll just within seconds. Then I copy and paste and pop it in there.
Right.
That's what I use it for. But there's so many other uses for it. It's just the sky's the limit. And it changes. It's changing everybody's business. You just have to decide how you're going to use it. But for me, it's made my job easier, less stressful. And that's in real estate, stress is the big thing,
Yeah.
So
I think it's changing every industry.
Oh, everyone.
Because the other businesses that I work in and participate, documentational purposes, so many different dynamics that I see it. I see it's not going to stop evolving.
Oh, no. This is going to make humanity evolve at a much quicker rate.
Yes.
I think we're headed towards Star Trek.
You know what else I've noticed nowadays, and more so when you go to San Antonio or other states, the self-checkout, not only at the grocery stores, but inside the gas stations.
Yeah.
Yeah. not only do you pay at the pump, but when you go inside, you know, you want a little snack
Yeah.
for the road, and they're catching you out. You know, you just go and scan your things and pay with a debit card, and out you go. You know,
There's a convenience store. You just put it on this table, and it scans it and charges you.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you pay and walk out.
So where are we going with this? You know,
Oh wow, the sky's the limit, really.
the sky's the limit.
And the thing is figure out how you can take advantage of it. And again, there's so many uses. You know,
And I'm so excited for the future. I feel my opinion about, I'm very progressive in regards to our future. And I'm a big fan of SpaceX, Elon Musk. And I know there's some people that don't appreciate him because of all the dynamics going on. But let's just talk about this one topic. You know, our species, our humanity going to another planet. It's happening. It's in the middle of that. And once you get there, he has all the logistical equipment, knowledge to get us there. He has the Wi-Fi satellite system, the Starlink. He has the Hyperloop. Like he's already mentioned, he's going to go underground and tunnel. And the Tesla manufacturing for the robots, any type of vehicles.
Oh.
So that's, you know, I connect the dots, and I find that extremely interesting. You know, that here we go. You know, the next 13 colonies in the making.
That's true.
Yeah, and they're going to have to drop some sort of, remember, I don't know what it was called. I believe it was the Magna Carta. No, it wasn't. No, that was something else. So basically, these companies that were formed by England when they started colonizing the 13 colonies. But I'm getting a little off subject. I just find that history recreating itself in a different format. But here we go. But anyway, bringing it to a close again. Thank you so much, Mark. I can't thank you. I enjoyed talking to you. It was
fun. It was a pleasure.
And sometimes when we're talking business, talking about real estate, whatever we're up to, we'll talk on the phone for so long. So I wanted to make it official now on the podcast. Let's talk about it on the podcast, record it, and put it out there. So thank you very much for being here today. And until next time, let's see what we can talk about. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget, we will have 2 tickets for Mercy Me. And good luck on winning those 2 tickets. Thank you very much. And we're signing off from Delta Oaks Ranch Podcast.
See ya.
See you.